24 hours with JB. Let's talk. So, for those who don't know, I just reached an 814 on my credit score. Yeah, beloved, I said I reached 814 on my credit score. So once they told me I had an 814, I said, yo, I'm more impressed and or concerned about what I can do with an 814 credit score opposed to the credit score itself. Essentially, I said, what do you mean by that, Mr. Bailey? I said, can I have 25,000 while being unemployed? He said, sure, no problem. I said, wait a minute, damn. I can have 25,000 just like that? And yeah, no problem. They gave it to me. I said, damn, Jay, you're not thinking big enough. Why would you ask for only 25,000? What is 25,000? See what I'm saying? So thus, I say that to say, always shoot as high as possible, beloved. But at any rate, once I received that 25,000, all I did was reorchestrate, right? Restructure my debt, right? As well as my finances overall. So with that being said, pay attention. So Unlimited, that's one credit card that I have, right? I zeroed that credit card out. Boom. Bank of America, BOA, that's another credit card that I have. What did I do? I zeroed that credit card out. Boom. My Business Inc., that's another credit card that I have. What do I zeroed that out. Boom. So now I had debt on this particular card as well. That's my Flex, right? I didn't zero that one out as well, but I did bring it down tremendously, right? And this particular number, that's 6,000 that I essentially owe, right? That's my credit card balance. But that particular card has a total credit limit of $27,000. You see what I'm saying? So thus, I kept the highest balance on the largest credit card. Reason being, my credit usage is lower by that occurring, as well as the overall credit utilization. Those numbers impact your credit score, right? So that's why I did that. Now, this particular credit card, that's my wife's credit card. We got her down to 4,000, right? Now, we don't even use this credit card. We only use this for one particular thing, but we got that down to 4,000 as well. So those are our two liabilities essentially, right? But you see how I compressed them, right? And the other thing is, this particular card, she only has a total credit limit of 7,500 on that card, right? So we're essentially only using half of it. But again, we don't use it. So that could always go off to the side and we could just pay it down and or pay it off at any point in time. So you want to be smart when restructuring debt, right? You essentially want to cross your T's and dot your I's, but let's keep going. So these are all of our credit cards. In total, we have 5 credit cards. Throughout those 5 credit cards, that's probably about, let's try to see, 27, 35, 22, that's about $60,000 right here. We have access to about 60,000 between these 5 credit cards, right? At least 60,000. So out of 60,000, we're only utilizing what, $10,000, right? So I like it. Like, you see what I'm saying? So now here are the 2 loans in which I received. I got one $15,000 loan from Upstart, right? And then I got one $10,200 loan from Best Egg. Those 2 loans combined equate to what? 25,000, right? Now you take the 25,000 off the loans and add the 10,000, which wifey and I, our 2 cards have. That equates to 10,000. 10,000 between the 2 cards, as well as 25,200 between the loan in which I just received, and that equates to what? $35,200. So as it stands now, from a liability perspective, my wife and I are in the hole $35,200. Okay, now here you go to my investing bag, right? My Charles Schwab bag, my portfolio, in which I show you all periodically. That particular bag has this number right here, $36,609. Now that's an asset, right? If you draw a line down the middle, even these are my liabilities, these are my assets, right? So this is my total asset number, right? So what I do is I put the total asset number on the top and I put the total liability number on the bottom. You subtract the two, that's essentially my net worth, right? That net worth is up. You always want your net worth to be up. And this is how you can get caught into the motion, caught into the apocalypse, if you will, because the average person would say, I got $35,000 in liabilities. No. This is why you have to invest, beloved, because though that 35,000 means nothing to me. Reason being, I'm focused on that big bag. That's for one. Secondly, this bag is only going to increase. It's only going to increase. As long as I keep my head, slow it down. As long as I remain diligent and invest, that asset bag will only increase, right? On the flip side, my liability bag is decreasing. Why is that? Here we go. So with a loan, the moment you receive a loan, they give you about 30 days until you have to pay it back, right? So thus, every month I'm making a payment on this loan as well as this loan. So this $25,200 that you're seeing is decreasing. You see what I'm saying? And so this number is decreasing. And bear in mind, I have to make a payment every single month to that loan. In addition, we have to make payments on at least our minimums on our two credit cards, right? So again, the liabilities are dropping inevitably every month. And with that being said, I make sure I make it my business, shameless plug, especially on Dividend Wednesday, to purchase stocks that not only pay dividends, but have appreciation potential, let's just say. So thus, we continuously add to the bag. Now, essentially what we want to do is we want for these numbers to be as far as possible. We want for the assets to rise and for the liabilities to decrease. The liabilities are decreasing again. Why is that? Because we're making payments every single month, right? So thus, let's say if I put $1,000 on liabilities every month, even if I put $200 on the asset side of things, my assets are still increasing because for one, I own stocks that pay dividends. So those dividends tend to help me out because they push me over the top here and there when need be. In addition, my net worth is essentially increasing. Focus on your net worth, right? Not your liabilities, but your net worth, right? Because you can have $1 million in assets, but $2 million in liabilities. You see what I'm saying? So thus, you want your net worth to be on the positive side of things. And lastly, as you could see for the Charles Schwab bag, the goal is 50 racks, beloved. If I could get that thing to 50,000, then essentially it'll grow legs and take off on its own. I know that was long-winded, but again, this is the net worth as of the current moment. And with that being said, focus on your net worth as much as possible. This is why I teach invest, and this is why I preach invest, because once you start to understand how numbers work, once you pay off your loans, your liabilities, your credit cards, beloved, you start to understand that it's not that hard. We make it hard ourselves, beloved. An 814 credit score is nothing special. It's nothing special about that, right? I can't walk around and say, hey, I have an 814 credit score. People will probably laugh at me in certain instances, but I can say I have 25,000. I can make that move. That's what true hustlers do. Heavy on the investments.